Hello friends, KJ4YZI. So you remember my little Xiegu X5105, my little QRP rig from China that has a battery and tuner built in. MFJ is the US distributor for this. 160 meters through 6 meters. You know, this has been a great rig. I haven't used this much lately, so now I have something to spark interest in it. So this is a 5-watt radio. It does AM and sideband and CW. But sometimes you want a little more than a QRP rig, more than just 5 watts. So this, again, I have to get into updating this thing now. I haven't touched it in a while. But I did, at Orlando Hamcation, I did borrow this unit from MFJ. And I'm going to decide if I want this or not. Now this is the Xiegu XPA125B linear amplifier with built-in auto tuner. This pairs exclusively with the X5105, and you can use it for other radios if you have the wiring. But we're going to talk about this first today. Roughly a 100 to 125 watt amplifier to give your Xiegu a little more oomph, when you want something more than 5 watts. Now, we're going to turn it on and go through it and show you. On the front, you have an LCD screen here. And the screen will tell you different things about the current and the voltage and the mode that you're in and SWR and stuff like that. Buttons here, we'll show you that. It's got a cool carrying handle so that when you want to take this portable, it's not that big. And this one is new to me because I didn't know they had a B model already. I remember the original slated XPA125 amp with auto tuner, and it was pretty big looking. But now they have this one here and it's a little bit smaller, so I kind of like this already. But I'm going to decide in this video and afterwards if I want to keep this, because I do have a use for it. I do want to buy stuff, but do I need to buy another piece of gear? I'm not sure, but we're going to find out. Now in the back, you do have your SO239s for your radio and your antenna. And there is an accessory cable which does the band switching and the keying of the amplifier, your DC and your fuse and your ground. And this communication here is for firmware updates, should you want to update the firmware. Now, skipping the unboxing, let me show you one thing that you will need to utilize this with the XPA125. So, this is something that, when I had my Xiegu originally, I had to homebrew a way to get it to connect to Ham Radio Deluxe and to get it to do PSK and stuff. But then they come out with this. This is Xiegu's little breakout box. And this has a connection to the radio here with a 8-pin DIN, micro DIN, mini DIN here. Then they have a 6-pin mini DIN going to the amplifier, but then they have a PTT connection, okay, and they have a AF connection for audio in and out, and they have a data connection. So this right here will allow you to connect your device to audio in and out for your computer, HRD and stuff like that. And with this, it comes with the cable to do that connection, okay? And it also comes with a few 3.5-inch mini stereo cables with raw ends on them. They're not wired, but they do give you these little 3.5 millimeter ends that you can wire them yourself. So they figure, okay, maybe this guy's got a different way of doing it than this guy because of the radio you have and such. So I do have this, and also that's the CE19, which is a separate accessory that you will need for the amplifier, but you don't necessarily have to have it, okay? But it makes it a lot easier, believe me. And then with the amplifier, of course, you get your power cord, but you also get a cable to go from the CE19 to the amplifier. So in doing so, what's going to happen is the radio sends the signal on this accessory. Where is it? There it is. On this accessory right here. It sends the data to the amplifier and says, hey, I'm on this band, I'm transmitting, and this one automatically talks to that. So what I'll do is I'll plug this in, we'll get it fired up, I'll show you how it reacts with the radio, and if there's anybody on that I can make a contact with, I'll try to make a contact. And what I'll do first is I will test the power of this thing through the bands into a dummy load. And then what I'll do is I'll go into my vertical and just show you on a couple bands that may not be a perfect one-to-one match. I will show you what the auto tuner does inside as you key up, and it automatically tunes. Now, it doesn't tune your antenna, remember. It tunes the amplifier to your unmatched antenna so that your final output transistors are happy, so that they see a perfect match, so they output full power with no reflected power to damage the PA. But that's how every tuner works. So let's fire this thing up and see what it looks like. Okay, so my desk is in shambles, so this is the best I can do for a shot here to get the radio, the amplifier, and my meter in the back. And I do have a dummy load connected. So let's go about the amp first. We'll turn this on. Okay, and what do I see right away? Well, I see that it's in receive mode and the PA is on. You turn the amplifier on or off. All right. The ATU is on. That is automatic tuner unit or automatic tuning unit. And that is on. I could also turn that off. 13.8 volts, zero currents at 26 degrees Celsius on the top here. And on the top left and top right, you will see a value populate for the SWR from here to the radio and an SWR from here to your antenna match. This is your input power from your radio, and this is the output power of the amplifier. Now notice here in the middle it says auto 20 meters. This thing is auto band sensing, so that on the radio here, if I switch bands, oh, okay, you can see now I'm on 17 meters. All right, automatically changes, and what that's doing is it's switching in different band pass filters in the radio for the output section. So 15 meters, let's go up to 10 meters. All right. Now, so you could turn that off. Let's say you don't have this connected to a Xiegu and you don't have an auto band sensing radio or a sending radio. You could turn this off, and now you'll be in manual, and you choose the band that you want to operate on. No problem. 20 meters. We're going to leave this on auto for now. Okay. And you'll see that when I transmit, this will go into transmit mode, and you'll see the values up here. So what I'm going to do is first I'm in a dummy load. So on my radio, I'm going to set this to FM so that I have full carrier output on 28.0. And we're going to see what this says as far as, oh, we're in manual. There we go. We're going to see how far, as far as what this says. You ready? Okay. So I'm only putting in 2.5 watts. I'm getting 96, 98 out. And that's about what this says here. 98, 99, 100, somewhere in there. Okay? Let me try AM and see what AM does. Yeah, so the radio, I'm at 91% battery on transmit with the radio. But roughly 2.5 watts in, 2.6, 97, 98 watts out. Not bad. Let's go up to 6 meters. And we'll switch that to FM. So I'm only putting 0.8 watts in. I'm getting, well, roughly almost 70 watts out. This says 80, 86, 75. This is solid at about a 66, 68 watts. Now there's really no reason for it to tune because my SWR is only 1.19. Okay? But I'm going to try this. I'm going to hold the button. Now I'm going to hold this tune. And that should retune. Although it didn't really do too much anything. 85, 75, 76 somewhere. This is 71 up here, 70. So roughly 70 watts output on 6 meters. Let's go to 80 meters here. Okay, so that just did a little quick tune there because I had this connected to my antenna and it must have had a stored value in there for the previous tune. But that's 4.8 watts in, 78 watts out. It says a 1.0 to 1 to the antenna match, 1.5 to 1 to my radio here. But this meter up here says I'm getting 84 watts out. Perfect match. 0 watts reflected into that dummy load. All right, let's go to AM just to see. Yeah, 83 watts out, roughly. So you can see this is bouncing a little bit, but the one up here is pretty solid. Pretty solid at 80 watts. Unless I modulate when I'm talking here. Let's see, go back to FM. Yeah, roughly 84 watts output, solid. 84.2, it's not moving. All right, so I'll trust my meter output. This is bouncing a little bit. Maybe they fixed that in an update, I'm not sure. And that's drawing 15 amps of current. Now let's go up to 40 meters. Let's just move up a little bit so that we're not right here. Let's try this on AM. All right, 4.6 watts from the radio, and about 80 watts out. This is 83, solid on 83. Let's go to FM. Yeah, 83. Solid 83. All right, and just for the heck of it, we'll go to sideband here. CQ, CQ. See, I don't have a PEP meter. I have a bird, and you always wonder, why do I use the bird? I don't feel like breaking out the bird, which I use for work a lot, in here. So, but the bird doesn't have a PEP kit. I do have a meter of PEP, but I don't have that. I'm just showing you max, hopefully max output here with a solid 4 watts in. Roughly 83 watts, okay? And then we'll go to, let's go to 20. There, FM. Okay, so that says 4.4 watts in, 94, 96 somewhere. This says 92. So 92, almost 100 watts. I mean, again, guys, you should know as a ham that the difference between 92 watts and 100 watts is no difference. So if you're thinking, well, I want that extra 8 watts. Well, that extra 8 watts is going to do nothing for you. To make any difference, you'd have to double your 92 watts. All right. Still, it's a lot better than 5 watts with a tuner built in. All right. Let's just, for one more heck of it, we'll go to 15 meters. And put it in FM. All right. It says 87, 86. That says 75 back there. Now, see, my SWR is 1.6, 1.7. Looking at the dummy load, probably because I had this thing tuned up on 15. So I'm going to try to tune it. Okay, that's a little better. See. Now 1.0. This says 98 watts. This says 100 watts out on 15 meters. Okay, so this thing has a memory from when I was tuning up my vertical, and it probably had those things snapped into place for the tuner. But there's a circuit in here that it's not going to retune if you're 1.2. You know, a 1.5 to 1 SWR is perfectly acceptable. A 1.8 is just fine. So the tuner is not going to tune unless it's above a certain value. Okay, and that's 1.1. You're seeing that's 100 watts out on 15 meters. All right. Let's go to 17, just because I didn't show that one. Now that's weird. I wonder, why is it only, my radio's cutting back on 17. Why? There we go. 89, 88, you know. Let's see if I could do a little better than that. Not sure if you heard that, but there we go. 95, 99, that says 100 watts up here. So, you know, as long as you're, there's 12 meters. See, that one automatically tuned. There we go, there's 100 watts. 100 watts on the meter in the back. All right, 10 meters. 101 watts, 100 watts. So let's go back up to 6 and see what was the problem there. See, 1.4, because I had that thing tuned with my other antenna. Watch this. Let me go like this. There you go. So roughly, I don't know, 85. Why is that doing that? Okay. So the best it'll do on 6 meters, probably because of, I don't know, maybe it's my, well, it's not my dummy load. My radio is only doing 3.5, 3.7 watts. So 72 watts roughly on, oh, you know why? I'm drawing a lot of current, 27 amps. That might be my power supply. Yeah, my power supply is not turned on. Okay. Well, that's why. I'm drawing way too much power. That's why it's blinking here. I don't have enough current. I'd have to reach down there and do that, but I'm not going to do that now. So that's about it. What is the goal here? What are we doing here? Well, we're taking a QRP radio, the X5105. Is this thing warm now? Just to the touch. We're taking a QRP radio, and we're utilizing an amp that matches with it, auto band switching, auto tuner inside. Again, not tuning your antenna by any means. It is matching the amplifier and the PA output section with bandpass filtering to your not perfect antenna. So your antenna is still not going to be resonant. If it's a 5-to-1 SWR, your antenna is still going to have reflective power and low efficiency, but your power amplifier will be happy, and your power amplifier is going to not have any damage to it because of the reflective power is being matched in the matching section, and the rest is history. So my thoughts now. Well, this will be great. You know what? And we'll try to make contact here in a second. This will be great for me bringing my radio out to field day. Yeah, I love QRP with my 5 watts, but let's say I want something a little bit more. Field day or Pelican Island special event down here in Indian River County. Or how about Summits on the Air? I don't know if that's only QRP or not, but different events. I could bring my little amplifier, my little radio, and this should run with my Bioenno battery. This has a battery built into it, so I'll have a decent runtime with both of them. But then you may be asking, well, why not just bring a 100-watt rig out there? Absolutely, absolutely. Why not get a radio like a 7100 or something that will come out there with you all in one package? Well, I asked this question to Jan, and Jan had said, well, maybe, Eric, the guy wants to be on 100 watts at home, but he loves backpacking, so he takes his little Xiegu out of home, and he brings it, where he wants to go, and then he comes back and hooks up to his amplifier. Now he's got a 100-watt rig, at home. That's a good point. Maybe he says maybe the person doesn't want to spend as much for an Elecraft and a little Elecraft amplifier. Okay, so this combo is cheaper than that. But for me, I'm going to stew on this. I think I'm going to I might pick this up. I want another week to decide. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back in the box, and I'm going to let it sit there for about a week, and I'm just going to keep it in the back of my mind. Do I want this, or do I ship it back? Because I'm just borrowing it for a video to bring to you guys. But there's something in me that wants to pick this amplifier up. I just got to think of what it is. Let's see if I can make a contact on my antenna. Kilo Juliet 4, Yankee Zulu India. Roger, KJ4YZI. Kilo Juliet 4, Yankee Zulu India. Kilo Juliet 4, Yankee Zulu India, KJ4YZI. Roger on the 5x3 into Brazil. You are about the same 5. I'll have to look again. I want to say 5x3. I have a lot of noise here in Florida. I'm only using 100 watts and a vertical. The name is Eric, Echo Romeo India. Charlie, the call is Kilo Juliet 4, Yankee Zulu India. Back to you. I'll give you a report on the next over. Okay, Roger, you are a 5x5, 5x6. The best I could tell. I have a little noise, and I haven't adjusted my filtering options on this radio I'm trying, so it's a little hard to hear you, but definitely a 5x6 into Florida. Over. Okay, so as I said in the beginning of the video, I've been out of date with this thing, so I did actually do a firmware update. And it added a whole bunch of features, and it reset the way the menus were, because you can go in and adjust some of the sound parameters, you know, the filtering, and high pass, low pass, all that, for the audio quality. Well, it's all default because I had to factory reset the radio, and I haven't. Now I have to go back in there and learn how I did that. With different various options to kind of mute out some of that noise. The speaker is a little tinny to begin with, but you can do a couple things to make it sound a little bit better. Or you could just plug in an external speaker inside, and it's a lot easier to hear. So I made a contact DX into South America, south of Brazil, Papa Uniform 3 station. And I did make the other gentleman, KE6, I'm not sure where he's at. He's in 20 meters. But, you know, the fact of the matter is, it is working. The amplifier is working. The auto, you know, I don't even really pay attention. It just kind of tunes. It switches over to 10 meters, and it just tunes up to match my antenna that may not be exactly in tune. So I'm going to put this in a box and stew on it. We'll see if I pick this up. I'd love to bring this, you know, use this for portable with my Xiegu here connected to my little pan adapter I showed you in a previous video, with the laptop running, so I get the waterfall display so I can see signals. It's got a use for it. Maybe or maybe not, you determine or find out that you wouldn't buy this amp, or you would. The bottom line is a thumbs up for the effort of bringing you this video. And just leave me in a nice comment, or any kind of comment. Leave a comment below and tell me what you think about it. And, well, you know, we could discuss on it. For those who are interested, you can comment below. MFJ does have this amplifier in stock. They did have them at HamFest. They do also have the X5105 in stock. And they do have the interface to put the two together. So you can check out MFJ. Link is in the description on the amplifier here. And in the future, if I decide to keep this, maybe I'll have this set up on the table during a special event day, or out in the field, wherever I decide to want to go. And I'll have it set up, and we'll tell you how it is then. 7.3. More videos on the way. KJ4YZI.